Hello everyone. This small demonstration is to look at how Portara and CQG deal with actual contracts and how that all aligns with the data that you extract using Portara. So we're going to look at crude oil and British pound, and notice that the British pound trades in Chicago where crude oil trades in New York, and we're going to look at the difference in the timing between those. So let's roll those contracts and create some data. Okay, so the next thing we do is we need to open our intraday compression manager, and let's drag that in. And what I've done is I've set up the British pound and the crude oil to have regular trading hours, session times. If we just check that, there's BP, it's on exchange time. So the exchange for BP is CME 0720 to 1400, and then for crude oil we can see it's on exchange time, and in there is 0900 New York to 1430 New York. Okay, and what we're going to do is put this onto 1 minute bar. The way CQG naturally does things is to have a start of bar paradigm, and you can look at this in the help files, but this is, if it's on start of bar, it's going to align completely with what's going on in your actual files. Okay, if you put it on end of bar paradigm, for instance, if you're using a piece of software such as TradeStation and other software out there that need end of bar, you'll find that the 1 minute bar is out by a factor of 1 minute on purpose. If you wanted it to align exactly with CQG, put it on start of bar, and your particular back testing platform provider will be able to tell you whether you need start of bar or end of bar to work with. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to create these 1 minute streams. Now, what is important to remember is that everything that CQG provide, whether you use their client services or their data factory services, or indeed Portara, is that all the actual contracts are in Chicago time, irrelevant of what exchange that data has come from. So in the case of BP, this is going to align naturally, and CL, this needs an hour adjustment, and it's at this stage with the compression manager that all adjustments for the exchange and for daylight savings time and everything else takes place, and we're going to look at that now. Now, in the case of BP, there's no adjustments necessary, but CL needs an hour adjustment, and it is quite common for people, especially new to Portara, to go and prove the streams coming from Portara at this stage, to prove those back to the actual contract. So let's now go and have a look at that. Okay, so we need to reopen the role manager so that we can access the actual database in there, and what we'll do in the meantime is we shall, let me drag the role manager in, and first of all we'll go to currencies, and we need British pound all sessions, and if we take a look at the nearest future currently trading, which is 2014Z, the way to look at the actual data is to right click on the symbol in the middle grid, display actual 1 minute data, and we click on that, and that will open the data for analysis for you. And let me drag that in. And what I'll also do is go to the data that we've just created, the continuous 1 minute for the British pound, and I'm going to go in there and double click that stream. Good. And what I'm going to do now is scroll down to the bottom at some random place and choose any, that's as good as any, 1357 on the 14th of November 2014, and what we need to do now is go to our actual data and scroll down to the same place 14 and 1357, and let me just highlight that row, and we can see there that the open is 15675, which agrees. The high is 15675, 15674 and 15674, and we didn't include the tick and the trade count in this model. So everything agrees. Voila. Okay, now what we're going to do next is to have a look at the crude oil stream in the same way. So we shall go to Energies, and in the meantime, oops, I was in the correct place. We'll open crude oil and then go down to let's just see what the current contract is. So it's 2015 F, so we need to go to crude oil. I think we used the all sessions combined. We did, so we need to scroll down to 2015 F. Okay, and right click and display that data and drag that in. Okay, now if we scroll down to somewhere like 1426, okay, which is the New York time, we need then to go into here and to make that align so you can check that it's accurate. You know, you're not going to do this every single time, but if you're new to Portara, you might want to prove out that the streams are aligning properly. So you might want to do this once or twice. So 1426 is going to be 1326 in Chicago. Okay, so we go back to 1326 and we can see 7561, which agrees with our file, and then 7564, 7554 and 7561, and it's a match. Okay, so that will work for any streams in any exchange. You can look back from this, but be aware that to check back to the actual data you must recompensate for the hours that have been applied at this stage. And again, just to reiterate, once you've proved this once or twice, there's no need for you to do this anymore. But if you're thinking, hey, why is my data not aligning, just think back to where the exchange actually is located and think that CQG's actual files are always in Chicago time. Thank you.